Today's episode is called Hot Girl Summer or Holy Girl Summer. We're diving into the cultural phenomenon of hot girl summer and contrasting it with what we're calling a holy girl summer. How can we balance fun and excitement with a life of purpose and faith? How can we enjoy the summer while staying true to our values and deepening our relationship with God? Let's dive right in. I am so privileged to have like a bunch of young adults that I am around. And one of the things that came up is hot girl summer. And it's like, well, what's that? It sounds cool, but the more I heard the conversation, the more I was like, oh, I'm not quite sure how hot that is. And so, first off, when we think about summer, right, we think about freedom, we think about fun, we think about play. And so when we were talking about this particular topic, one of the things that I was reluctant about was saying you can't have a hot summer or a hot girl summer. I believe that it actually is based upon what you call hot, what your core values are, what you think is fun, what's meaningful, what's true to you. And so to one person, a hot girl summer could be as some of the discussions are, where you're out there and you basically can run around, sleep around, have a lot of bodies on you and in bed with you, and it doesn't mean a thing, and you have no attachment. I clearly don't think that's hot at all. But if we're looking at hot from that perspective, then we say, yes, we definitely want to go with what we call holy girl summer, or I would call it a hot holy girl summer, because before we dive into the contrast between the two, one of the things that made me reluctant from just diving right in and saying, no, we're not having a hot girl summer. It's almost like, if you don't know any better, it sounds like, oh, you can't have the fun, you can't have the freedom. And the reality is that in God, we have the fun and we have the freedom. I was sharing with someone the other day, and I said, I can take bored for a day. In other words, because my life is so, busy and there's just things to do and responsibilities. I love my life. I have the greatest job ever, sharing the good news of Jesus Christ. But in thinking about it, I said, I truly can say that the last time that I was actually truly bored, it was before I was saved. It was a Saturday where nothing was on television, and it's like, I'm bored. Back then you only had like a few channels. And so I wanted to make sure that as we had this conversation, let it be clear. Life is living and fun and adventurous in Jesus. And so I didn't want to go into this conversation acting like, oh, you can't be a hot girl. No, what is hot to you? What's rocking to you? What's fierce to you? What's fire to you? What's all that to you? And so I think it's defining what hot is to you, what's on fire to you. Now, if we're talking about the worldly definition of a hot summer, and you're talking about lewdness, you're talking about no discretion, you're talking about having sex aimlessly and just with anybody and getting into bed with someone and having no attachment with them, having no covenant with them, then we say, let's opt out of that, right? Because the reality is it's fake fun. It's not real fun. And it looks like freedom, but it's not freedom. Because when you jump into bed with someone, right, you have something called soul ties. There is an exchange. There is an exchange, even if you don't see it tangibly and physically. There's something that you leave away with from that person that you were in the bed with. And so now it's like, whoa, because we're in a different day now. When I was younger, it would be known that, yeah, men could sleep with someone and not care 2 cents about it. Like a man could jump into bed with a woman, some men, and not think about that woman ever again in life. But women couldn't do that. Now we've progressed so. And when I say we, I'm talking about society-wise and how sin has progressed. The women are just as bad as the men in the sense of jumping into bed with every Tom, Dick, and Harry, and it's like whatever. And then I believe that a lot of it is contributed to by what we're listening to, what we're hearing, the conversations that we're participating in, the imagery, the media. And so it's like now it's like, get the money, get him to buy you a bag, get him to get you a purse, let him show you the money, sleep with him to get what you want. And when you think about that, it's like, that has to be from the pits of hell, because your life is worth so much more than that. You were made for more. Clearly, God created his people, human existence, human beings, for much more than lessening their identity to physical appearance, to sensuality, sexuality, to just what feels good, rather than what actually truly is good. And so in going into the hot girl summer versus the holy girl summer, I would like to start off with, if we're going with what culture is saying, choose holy girl summer, right? But now I want to deal with the stigmas, because there's a stigma that's out there that says you can't have fun in God. You're like a prune. It's just very religious. Well, you know what? Yes, religion in itself, it can be daunting, and it could be very stiff and stuck. But relationship, honey, child, baby, let me just tell you, that's where it is at. When I'm talking about a relationship with Jesus, it's adventurous. When you think about if you're like a hopeless romantic, right? And I still I believe it. I love hearing people's love stories and how this one met that one, and they got together and they get married, and so on and so on and so on. I love those stories. Well, in that, when you think about the relationship with God, it's all of that. It's adventure. It's pursuit. It's passion. It's discovery. And the wonderful thing that I found out is that, listen, if you're going to have a holy hot girl summer, let's take that, a holy hot girl summer. It is a summer of time spent with God. It is a summer with friends and fellowship and fun. It is a summer of discovery, and it is a summer of intent, and it's a summer of living life on purpose. The Lord wants you to know that he is with you. He will never leave you, nor will he forsake you. Be conscious to know that the world will try to put labels on you, claim you for the gifts that God has put on the inside of you. And this is the hour that God is amplifying your sound. There is a sound of glory that is on your voice to communicate the glorious gospel of Jesus Christ. Know that there will be challenges, there will be opposition, but nothing that comes up against you is greater than he that is on the inside of you. You will not be moved into being lukewarm. You will not fit in to the world's culture, but you will dominate the territories and take it for Jesus. Living life on purpose in itself is fulfillment. It is I don't want to say magical, but it is adventurous, and like, what's next? One scripture talks about that, where you say, what's next, Papa? And that's this life in God. But that fake world, fake fun, hot girl summer that says, hey, go take all your clothes off, get drunk where you don't know where you are. That's like a setup for date rape. That's like a setup for despair. That's a setup for addiction. That's a setup for not a fun future, but a future in prison. That is just how Satan is. He is such a deceiver and deceptor and a liar. He'll make it appear good, like, yeah, it's fun over here. Then you get to the party, and what? It wasn't all that. You went to bed with them, and what? It wasn't all of that. Your heart is broken. You're still not content, still not happy. That is not a hot summer. That is a hot mess, a hotmess.com. But when you're talking about having a hot girl holy summer, you're talking about, when I think about that, I think about passionate prayer, right? Where you start your day pursuing God. It's a day where, you know what, you make some plans with your girlfriends to go out to dinner, to have brunch, to go to fine dining, to even have, listen, some hot fun with your spouse, with your husband or your wife, right? That is a holy hot girl summer, or a holy hot man summer for some of you men that are watching. And when I think about the deception of the enemy, to be like, "Oh, it's hot over here." No, it's a trap. It's entrapment, right? It says a hot girl summer, but it's an entrapment. It's, try this, pop this. I can't tell you how many stories I have heard about the summer freedom, right? Fake freedom, hot girl summer. Oh, it's hot outside now. I just want to do this. I don't want to have restrictions. I don't want to have borders. When you think about a fireplace, right? That fire that's in that fireplace, it is so nice. But take that fire and let it spread all through the house. It's a catastrophe. And that's what happens when we live life, right? Without having discretion, without having boundaries. Boundaries are not bad. Boundaries are good. It actually says, you know what? Something worth value is here. And so, no, I'm not putting it out for everybody. I'm not sleeping with everybody. I'm not going to be popping those pills. I'm not going to be running from one bed to another. I'm not going to engage into an intimate, sacred act with someone that is supposed to be something that's supposed to be sacred and something that's supposed to be special, and just spread it around for everyone. Nah, that is not a hot summer. Again, that is a hot mess. Let me just give you a story time. Let's call this story time, right? And this is a real story. There was a young lady in that same premise of hot girl summer. Hey, I'm getting away. I'm out of here. I got a break from college. I'm going to have fun. There's going to be no restrictions. I'm going to have good sex. I'm going to have my nice drinks. I already got my party clothes. It's going to be on. I don't want any restrictions. And so there was a young woman. She did just that. She had her outfits laid out. She was going, oh, you talking about look hot? She was going to look hot. She had the body for the clothes. She had the clothes for the body. And she was ready to party and ready to mingle. She boarded that plane, and you better believe there was a dude on that island that was ready to party and ready to mingle. She already had her mindset. I'm going on this trip. And when I go on this trip, I'm doing what I want to do. I'm doing what makes me feel good, and I'm going to have a good time. Real story, not a fake one. And so while she was out there, at first, she didn't, meet somebody that she was kind of vibing with. But eventually, she hooked up with the one. Yep, the one that she would spend the rest of her vacation with, enjoying the hot girl summer, right? Except this time it was really spring break, but it's in that same spirit, in that same vibe of we're going to let loose and we're going to party and we're going to have a good time and we're not going to be restricted and we're going to have wild sex and it's going to be great. Well, her and this guy kicked it off, and they were having a wonderful time. They were intimate in various different places. They were passionate. They were feeling each other. And let me just pause here. Just because something feels good doesn't mean that it is good. Well, they partied. They had a good time. They couldn't get enough of each other. Yes, there were other young adults there that were partying too, but these two hooked up really, really good. And so now she's like, this has been like the time of my life. I had so much fun. I really, really am into this man. This was the best getaway ever. So in terms of if we were to call it a hot girl summer, it was a hot girl summer for her, except it was springtime. Well, they're passionate with each other. He's so attentive that he goes with her back to the airport. He wants to go with her to the airport to see her off. So it's like, you know what? You're not just a one-night stand. I want to see you back to the airport as you go back to your country and you go back home because we're tight like that. Well, he brings her to the airport. Real story. And before she leaves him, he says, I have a gift for you, but I don't want you to open it until you get on the plane. And she's like, yes, okay, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. And of course, she doesn't want to leave him. It's been passionate. It's been everything that she's wanted it to be. And before she goes to leave and say bye for the last time, they have their passionate kiss, their tongue kissing, it's been all of that. The trip, the hot girl summer, or that hot girl vibe, she had it. She gets on a plane excited to hear or to read the message and open the gift that this man has given to her. She opened it up, and on the inside, there is a black rose with a note that says, I had a great time with you. I am HIV positive, and now so are you. All of a sudden, all of the excitement, real story, all of the energy, all of the exuberance and freedom is now crushed like a brick just hit her in the gut. And she's gone from a flowery, hot summer, feeling great. Really, for her, again, it was spring break. This was amazing, sunny, to now everything seems dark. Is this a joke? Is this real? Oh my God, she's jittering. She's unstable. She's wrecked. She's nervous because what she thought she was experiencing wasn't really that. It was a setup. Long story short, she gets back home. She gets tested. Real story, not a fake one. She gets tested, and yes, she is HIV positive because no condoms, no reluctancies, no borders, no restrictions, just, I'm going to be free and I'm going to meet somebody. And she's going to have she didn't call it a hot girl summer, but we both can agree, right? That it was in that same spirit, in that same vibe of, I'm going to do what I want to do, have as much sex as I want to have the beautiful, colorful drinks I want to have. There'll be no restrictions. And it all was a setup from hell to alter her life forever. Now, I'm not saying you can't bounce back from that and have a life, of course, that can be redeemed. And yes, God can give you a future. But that's not what she signed up for. See, she signed up for lawlessness. She signed up for lack of discretion. She signed up for not having any borders, letting herself be wide open. And when she allowed herself to be wide open, Satan came in with a setup, except it didn't look like a setup. It looked like, one of those romance novels. You're feeding each other, you're vibing each other, you're rubbing each other's feet, you're having sex morning, noon, and night. There's somebody that you're not married to, you don't know this man from a can of paint, but it's a hot girl summer. And so, with that being said, of course, we know that that was a hot mess summer, and she truly was infected with HIV, which changed her life forever. Now, let's talk about having the contrast of that, a holy girl summer. And I would even adventure and add a holy hot girl summer, because again, it goes back to what you call fun. What is exciting to you? Keeping your core values intact. Christianity is not boredom and stuffy and no fun and you can't laugh and you can't dance. It's just clean fun. It's just fun that doesn't give you a hangover and have you throwing up over the toilet bowl the next day, right? It could be whether fashion is fun. Like for me, fashion is fun to me. But I know to some other people it's not. Maybe yours is tennis. Maybe it's basketball. Maybe it's designing. Maybe it's you love music. There's nothing wrong with that. When you think about the most creative one ever, it is God. So when you think of creativity, when you think of what's new, what's fresh, what's hot, you can't get no hotter, no greater, no fresher than God. And so I want to encourage you today to rediscover what fun is, true fun is. It's not the thing that would have you in a prison for the rest of your life. And all prisons are not, with bars and you're at a penitentiary and they lock the doors behind you. Let me tell you, you want to know the number one prison is the prison in the mind. It is the invisible prison, right? That because we subscribe to something that would cause your soul to become a slave to a thing, to a relationship, to an action, to a deed, to a particular situation, right? Where you're no longer in the driver's seat, but the thing is controlling you. I have a podcast that's coming up even with one of my loved ones, with my father, and we're going to talk more about that. But in the hot girl summer versus the holy girl summer, I would say to you, make it the best summer yet. How do you do that? You start the day with God, right? Because the reality is that life be life and things still be happening, whether it's the winter, spring, summer, or fall. Even in the summertime, there are challenges that happen, obstacles that take place, right? Battles sometimes that happen, but you can still make it a holy hot girl summer. And that takes intentionality. What do? Number one, you make the decision to seek God first, right? Acknowledge him in all of your ways, and he will direct your path. What that helps you to do also is to manage your state. There are so many people that are opting out for drugs, opting out for multiple sexual partners, looking for love in all the wrong places, when really the reality is that if you sometimes will allow yourself to feel the pain, have the struggle, feel the challenge, you will actually grow and discover new strategies for living on top and being able to have a holy hot girl summer, even when things are not so hot, right? Even when there are challenges in your life, even when you may be having family issues, health issues, financial issues, challenges with your business, relational issues, whatever it may be. It's a state of mind that when you will seek God first, you get to manage your state. You get to manage your emotions. You get to manage your feelings. You get to be intentional about your day. And instead of saying, oh, the day ran away from me. No, it didn't run away from me. I was intentional in what I was going to bring to the day. You can make it a good day or not. And that's intentionality. One of the things that I found that makes my summer so much better is seeking God. Just acknowledging him and saying, God, you gave me this day. I give it back to you. Order my steps, direct my path. Help me to see the opportunities in the day. Help me to see the ways I can make somebody else's life better. And then also allowing yourself to breathe, right? You are able to breathe because you realize, guess what? God never sleeps and he never slumbers. So there's no need in you staying up all night and losing sleep and worrying about stuff. Come on, that you cannot change. But you can take your cares, cast your cares. As a matter of fact, cast means throw them on God. Just throw them on him. Say, here you go. Because let me tell you something. I am a wife of nearly almost 30 years. It's not 30 years yet. It's 28 years. A mother of 5. My sons are all grown. My daughter is 16. And let me tell you something. It would have been a hotmess.com every summer if I didn't learn that one thing of casting my cares upon the Lord. Yes, here. I give you my husband. Here, I give you my son, my daughter, whatever it is at that time. I give you myself. And when you give it over to God, you're able to look at it through a different lens and then say, okay, now I have space to create. I can create the fun. I can innovate. I can explore. I can see how I can make this and this work together, how I can be resourceful and use what I have, right? Some people say, you know what? I can't have a fun summer. I can't have a holy hot girl summer because I need more money. No, you just need to be more resourceful. Use what you have. What does it take to have a picnic basket and go to a park and sit down and have lunch with yourself or have lunch with a friend? That doesn't take a lot lot of money to do that. What does it take to position yourself to go to a beautiful park and walk in that park and take that moment and say, you know what? Yes, I have a busy day, but I'm going to take these 20 minutes to sit in this park, to look at these cherry blossoms, to look at these flowers, to take it in. Whatever it is for you, what does it take for you to go drive to the beach or take a visit to the beach and say, you know what? I'm going to take this particular day and I'm going to look at the ocean. I'm going to take it all in. I'm going to look at this beach. I'm going to relax. I'm going to rest in the fact that God is with me. God is for me. He's not against me. I'm going to take the time to explore. I'm going to take the time to assess and see, okay, it's summertime. What is the fun that you want to have? Ask yourself, because what's fun to you may not be fun to your best friend or your cousin, but what is it like that you like to do? Then when you say, you know what, I have fun, I have more fun when I'm around others. Now, there's some people where they have to have both, and that's me. I like having fun with others, but then I also have to have that time where it's just me. That's how God wired me. So I need both. I need time where I'm just having fun. It's just me and God alone, and we're having a great time, and I'm exploring, and I'm looking at colors. I'm looking at fabric swatches. That's fun to me. I'm not drunk. I'm not high. No, I'm not getting high. No, I need to know what's going on. So when I negotiate, you don't got one up on me. No, I'm not popping no pill to be in some ecstasy and I'm somewhere else and don't know what's going on. Devil, you are a liar. Hot fun for me is, okay, I'm woke. I'm aware. I'm functioning. I'm in my best state. I'm in my gift set. In other words, an area that God has gifted me in. I'm creating. I'm brainstorming, right? And I believe that for you. There's a way that God created you. He wired you. And so pay attention to what makes you come alive, right? When are you woke? What can you do that you can do it so much that even if you don't get sleep, you don't even feel it. You're not even hungry because you're doing that. Plant that in your summer and then take the time to see how you can make that more of your life, where you can actually bring in revenue from that at the same time, so that you're doing what you love while being profitable at the same time. And at the same time, you're being purposeful, but while you're doing purpose, you're making a profit at the same time. That's fun. Now, but define what fun is for you and put that in your life. Maybe you're a foodie. I have some friends that when I tell you, fun for them is everybody going out to eat and everybody order a different meal. And then when it comes to the table, everybody's digging in each other's plate and you have some of this and you have some of that and you have some of this and you have some of that, and it's fun. Well, the fellowship part is fun for me. The way the table is set is fun for me. If it's pretty, if the aesthetics is nice, that is fun. But somebody sticking their hand in my plate is not fun to me, right? So you have to be true to what fun is to you, but I'll go for it and I'll let it happen in that setting because that's the vibe for that particular event. And so a hot girl summer, a holy hot girl summer, is a summer that keeps God first. You're having fun while keeping your core values intact so that you're not regretting the fun that you had, but the fun is actually springing you into a creative mode, an innovative mode, showing you the opportunities that are in front of you. You're seeing what you didn't see before, and that really does happen in a state of rest. I believe that that's one of the reasons why, we're supposed to have the Sabbath, where you have that rest day, because when you rest, you reset, right? And you get to think. You get to think about what you're doing. You get to think about what's meaningful. You get to think about what's fun. What do you want to keep? What do you want to throw away? So let me ask you this. What is an extraordinary summer for you? What's the best summer for you? What are you doing? What do you like to do? Is it jumping rope? Is it bike riding? Is it being physically active? Is it going on a boat ride? Is it reading a book? What is it that makes you happy? Listen, in this life with God, life is living in Him, and it is the best life ever. Like the story I told you about, and I'm telling you, I've been in ministry a very, very long time. It's not the only story that I have heard of living life without boundaries and without discretion, and it's the summertime and my body's feeling a certain type of way, honey, you better go take you a cold shower, throw yourself on the altar. But it is not worth it to go and put yourself out there and allow somebody to have parts of you that's supposed to be sacred, that have not earned you, that have not done what it takes, that have not shown that, you know what, they value you. You are more valuable than that. And so a holy hot girl summer, I say go for it. Yeah, listen, dress up if you want to. Listen, put your bad dress on. Put those heels on. It looked like for COVID, we all pretty much went into that frumpy wear and pajama wear and lounge wear. And even I'm tired of that. I'm like, somebody, please go get the ballroom gown and let's dress up for whatever reason. It's Tuesday. But whatever makes you happy. And if putting on that nice dress makes you feel better, put it on. If putting on your sunglasses and rocking it, put it on. If going out and if you can afford it and you know what, and your budget says, okay, you're good to go and it's not going to add any sorrow to you, and you want that drop top, go buy it. Drop the top, ride in your car, but just enjoy Jesus in it. Don't let the devil be the one that you're riding with. Give him the boot. Because if you let him in your car for the summer, he going to drive you into a ditch. But if you allow Jesus to be in your vehicle and be at the helm of your vehicle for the summer, you're going to ride into some amazing places. You're going to go from glory to glory, faith to faith, strength to strength, power to power. You're going to innovate. You're going to create. You're going to see the more of what God has for you. And to me, what do you say? That is a hot girl summer. So bring your A game, bring your confidence, bring your love for God, bring your love for others, bring your gifts, bring your talents, show up. Don't shrink back. Be unapologetically the you that God has created you to be. And that, my dear friend, is a hot, holy girl summer. Okay, so we're not going to call it just Holy Girl Summer, which is enough, but holy is hot. Holy is hot. Holy is fire. Holy is a cut above the rest. Holy is set apart, sanctified. Ox, woo! That's hot. That's hot. Thank you for joining Conversations with Medina. I'll see you next time.